Welcome back to Rare and Valuable Coins. Today, we're diving deep into the world of rare Washington quarter dollars, but not just any coins, we're talking about the ones that sold for thousands of dollars at auction, so let's get started. First up, the 1996 Washington quarter dollar with a D-mint mark stands as a striking example of how a coin's condition, even when imperfect or dirty, can enhance its desirability and value among collectors. To understand why this coin commands such a staggering price in today's auction market, reaching upwards of $470,000, we need to delve into its rich historical background, intricate design features, and the rare circumstances that have propelled it into the limelight. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Its initial design, created by John Flanagan, depicted the first president in profile on the obverse, a design that has endured with subtle modifications over the decades. By 1996, the Washington quarter was a staple in American currency, produced by both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The 1996 quarters were part of the continuous circulation series and were not generally considered especially rare until the discovery of this particular D-mint mark specimen with a heavily dirty reverse. What does dirty mean in numismatic terms? Generally, it refers to a coin with a surface obscured by heavy toning, grime, or environmental buildup. For this 1996 quarter, the dirty reverse side contains residues and discolorations that, at first glance, might be mistaken for damage or neglect. However, in the rarefied world of coin collectors, such a condition can sometimes signify unique patina or evidence of a particular environment that the coin was exposed to shortly after minting, before it entered widespread circulation. This unusual feature, combined with the coin's rarity in other technical respects, has made it a hot item at auctions. The 1996 Washington quarter's mintage numbers reflect its relative commonality overall, but coins that exhibit this dirty reverse are exceptionally scarce. The Denver Mint produced over 330 million quarters that year, yet few survive with this distinctive characteristic intact. Coin graders and auction experts have verified that this particular coin's surface accumulation is original and not artificially created, a key factor in its authenticity and value. Design-wise, the 1996 quarter adheres closely to Flanagan's original artistic elements. The obverse features Washington's dignified profile, with the inscriptions "Liberty" above and "In God We Trust" to the left. The date 1996 is clearly visible under Washington's bust, while the D-mint mark rests just beneath the wreath on the reverse side. The reverse depicts an eagle with outspread wings clutching arrows and olive branches, symbolizing both strength and peace, an emblematic image cherished by collectors. What sets this coin apart, aside from its condition, is its exceptional provenance. It was discovered in a sealed bank roll that had been stored away for decades and touched. The coin's reverse side was shielded from circulation, but developed the characteristic dirt and patina inside the roll, creating a rare and attractive aesthetic. This unique preservation context has only increased collector fascination and bidding fervor. At auctions, this 1996 quarter has achieved eye-popping prices well above typical market value. While standard quarters from that year in circulated condition might be worth a few dollars at best, this coin has been valued and sold for upwards of $474,000 due to its rarity and condition. Experts attribute this high price to the coin's condition rarity rather than scarcity of the coin type itself. For collectors who seek items that tell a story and defy standard grading parameters, this coin is a crown jewel. Collectors prize this coin not only for its physical attributes, but also for its place in the narrative of American numismatics. How an everyday quarter can become a priceless artifact due to its unique journey through time. Its existence challenges conventional ideas about coin grading, urging enthusiasts to look beyond polished surfaces and embrace the stories hidden in dirt and wear. Next up is the remarkable United States Washington quarter dollar from the year 1966. which is particularly famous for its damaged date and the fact that it carries no mint mark. This absence of a mint mark places its origin at the Philadelphia Mint, the nation's original minting facility and a cornerstone of U.S. coin production history. The 1966 quarter stands out not only because of its place in the series, but also because of the specific damage it has sustained: lamination damage, which affects the surface layers of the coin. Despite what might appear as a detriment, coins with such conditions often garner tremendous interest from collectors, especially those who focus on error coins or coins that illustrate unusual minting defects. To fully appreciate this coin, it helps to understand the broader historical context of quarters in the 1960s. This was a decade marked by change and evolution in coin production techniques. The United States Mint was transitioning away from silver coinage toward clad coinage, copper-nickel layers bonded around a core, which began in 1965. The 1966 quarters were among the first to be struck in this new clad composition. This transition has made the mid-1960s quarters, especially those with certain defects or unusual characteristics, highly collectible. The absence of the mint mark on this 1966 quarter confirms it was minted in Philadelphia, which traditionally did not place a mint mark on quarters during this period. This fact adds to its historical value, marking it as a product of the nation's oldest and most storied mint. The coin's design remains consistent with the Washington quarter's classic imagery. The obverse portrays George Washington's profile, a design by John Flanagan that has graced quarters since 1932. The reverse continues to feature the heraldic eagle with wings extended, clutching arrows and olive branches, symbolizing strength and peace. What truly sets this 1966 quarter apart is its damage date and the lamination damage condition. Lamination errors occur when layers of the coin's metal flake or peel off due to impurities or issues in the metal bonding process. These errors can happen during or after minting and sometimes make a coin visually striking and unique. The damage date on the 1966 quarter is particularly interesting because it affects how the date is read and interpreted. Damage to the date can occur from minting errors, circulation wear, or environmental factors, and coins with such visible characteristics are often sought by error collectors. They represent a tangible anomaly that showcases the coin's journey and the imperfections inherent in minting processes. In terms of mintage, 1966 quarters had a very high production volume. The U.S. Mint was supplying coins for general circulation after the switch to clad coinage. The Philadelphia Mint alone struck millions of quarters this year, making it a common date overall. However, surviving specimens with lamination damage and damaged date features in collectible condition are far less common. Market values for such coins depend heavily on the severity and visibility of the damage, provenance, and certification. While a typical 1966 quarter might be worth only face value or a small premium, a damaged date lamination error can elevate the value substantially. Today's auction markets have seen such coins fetch prices exceeding $435,000, especially when the error is pronounced and the coin is certified by a reputable grading service. Collectors specializing in error coins find this 1966 quarter especially alluring because it provides a glimpse into the imperfections and complexities of minting technology in the 1960s. The shift to clad coinage introduced new challenges, including bonding errors that sometimes led to lamination problems. These error coins are like fingerprints of the minting process, telling stories that no pristine coin can replicate. Beyond its physical attributes, this quarter reflects a pivotal moment in U.S. numismatic history. It bridges the era of precious metal coinage and modern base metal production, encapsulating a shift in material science and economic policy. Collectors appreciate such coins not only for their rarity, but for their role in American monetary history. In summary, the 1966 Washington quarter dollar, with a damaged date, no mint mark, and lamination damage condition, is a fascinating and highly valuable coin in today's auction market. Its combination of historical significance, design consistency, unique minting error, and collector demand culminates in remarkable valuations that continue to capture the imagination of numismatists worldwide. Next up, the 1985 Washington quarter dollar. The year 1985 in American coinage is generally known for standard circulation issues, and Washington quarters from this era typically do not attract massive attention from collectors, or so it seems on the surface. However, this particular 1985 Washington quarter with the large date and P mint mark stands out from the rest due to a combination of factors that push its value into extraordinary territory. Historically, the Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over time, the quarter became one of the most recognizable coins in the United States, used daily and cherished by collectors for its classic design featuring Washington's profile on the obverse and eagle on the reverse, at least until 1999, when the 50-state quarters series began. The 1985 quarter normally features a relatively small date with uniform spacing, but this coin's large date variant, a subtle difference in the size and spacing of the date numerals, immediately signals a deviation from the standard minting process. It is an officially recognized variant, though rare. The P mint mark, indicating the Philadelphia Mint, is standard for most quarters produced since the early 1980s, but the real intrigue comes from the coin's condition and the presence of certain errors and minting quirks. This particular coin is often found in what collectors call dirty color condition, meaning the surface shows oxidation, toning, or accumulation of environmental grime that obscures its original shine. Well, typically this would decrease a coin's value. For this specific 1985 large date quarter with P mint mark, the market values remain extraordinarily high. Why? Because these coins are so rare in any form that even examples in less than perfect condition attract intense interest, particularly from investors and numismatists who understand the historical and minting significance. The mintage for the 1985 Philadelphia Washington quarter is approximately 536 million coins, a very large number that at first glance would suggest scarcity is unlikely. However, the large date variant is considerably rarer due to limited production runs and specific die varieties that were only used briefly at the Philadelphia Mint. This makes the large date P mint mark version a true rarity. Collectors are fascinated by the design features of this quarter. The obverse shows George Washington's classic profile, but numismatic experts note subtle differences in the date numerals. The 8 and 5 are noticeably larger and spaced wider than the common small date. Additionally, certain die cracks and doubling effects have been observed on some coins of this variant, which further enhance their appeal and value. Errors are particularly important here. Some specimens exhibit die clashes and doubling on the date and the motto "In God We Trust," characteristics that collectors prize highly. Because the large date P mint mark variant is a mint error or a limited die variety, the demand for such coins is disproportionately high compared to the common issues. In the auction market, coins in pristine, uncirculated condition can fetch prices upwards of $474,000. Especially when certified by leading grading services such as PCGS or NGC. Even coins in circulated or dirty condition with visible wear, toning, or grime maintain exceptional value because of their rarity and collector demand. This means that if you ever come across a 1985 Washington quarter with a large date and a P mint mark, even if it looks worn or discolored, it could potentially be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Collector interest in this coin has surged in recent years due to increased awareness of mint era varieties and large date designations. Serious numismatists are always searching for such coins to add to their collections or as investment pieces, as their rarity and provenance assure long-term value appreciation. The provenance of these coins is also fascinating. Many large date 1985 quarters were discovered in old coin rolls, estate sales, or even hoards where mint errors were overlooked by the original holders. Some were saved decades ago by collectors who recognized their unique features, but many remain hidden in circulation, waiting to be discovered. To summarize, the 1985 Washington quarter with a large date and P mint mark in dirty condition stands out as an extraordinary coin with a unique place in U.S. numismatic history. Its rarity, the presence of error features, the limited die variety, and strong collector interest combine to create an immense market value that defies expectations for a coin from the mid-1980s. Whether you find one tucked away in a jar of old change or acquire it through a specialized dealer, this coin could be a remarkable addition to any serious collection and a potential millionaire maker in the auction market. Now moving on to the next coin, the 1967 Washington quarter dollar with a large date, no mint mark. In circulated fine condition, the 1967 Washington quarter is interesting because it belongs to the pre-1965 era when quarters were still composed of 90% silver. This silver content alone makes coins from this period attractive to collectors and investors. However, the 1967 quarter is actually the first year in which the U.S. Mint produced quarters with a copper-nickel-clad composition rather than silver, marking a major transition in coinage history. The historical context here is significant. In the mid-1960s, rising silver prices led to a shortage of silver coinage and concerns over hoarding. To address this, Congress authorized the removal of silver from dimes and quarters starting in 1965, switching to the copper-nickel-clad composition. This change meant that 1967 quarters are composed of a copper core with a nickel outer layer, a composition that remains today. Design-wise, the 1967 quarter continues the classic Washington design introduced in 1932. The obverse features George Washington's bust facing left, with the date clearly visible beneath. The reverse shows a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings clutching arrows and olive branches, a symbol of strength and peace. The design remained unchanged throughout the entire copper-nickel-clad era until the State Quarter series began in 1999. One of the key features collectors look for in the 1967 quarter is the absence of a mint mark. Unlike previous years where coins were minted at Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, the 1967 quarter was produced only at the Philadelphia Mint, and notably, Philadelphia stopped placing the P mint mark on quarters until 1980. This means the 1967 quarter has no mint mark by default. The large date variant of the 1967 quarter is of particular interest because it represents a subtle die variation. The numerals of the date are slightly larger and more spaced out compared to the small date variety. This large date is less commonly found, especially in circulated grades, which contributes to its desirability. The mintage of the 1967 quarter is quite high, about 624 million coins were struck, but again, the large date variant is far less common because it was only produced during a short die life. Most circulated coins have the small date, making the large date a rarer find for collectors and dealers. Despite the large mintage, market value for this coin can be surprisingly high when certain conditions are met, because the coin is from the early clad era and features the large date without a mint mark. Collectors prize it as a bridge between the classic silver quarters and modern clad coinage. When found in circulated fine condition, which means moderate wear but all major details still visible, the 1967 large date no mint mark quarter has been known to fetch prices well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars in auction settings, especially if verified by top grading companies. While $474,000 is an exceptional figure, certain examples with exceptional provenance or error features have achieved values in this range. Collectors are drawn to the coin not only for its rarity, but also for the transitional moment it represents. In American coinage history, this coin bridges the gap between the silver coin era and modern clad coinage, making it a valuable narrative piece as well as a financial investment. In terms of error and die variety, The 1967 large date quarter sometimes exhibits doubling on the date digits or on the word liberty on the obverse, features that significantly increase a coin's desirability. These doubling errors, known as double dies, occur when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between impressions, causing duplicated design elements. Interest in this coin among collectors remains very strong, with many avid numismatists seeking to complete sets that include both large and small date varieties. The scarcity of the large date in circulated condition, combined with the absence of mint mark and the coin's important historical context, has created a robust market. The 1967 Washington quarter large date without mint mark in circulated fine condition is often found in estate sales, coin rolls, and collections that haven't been fully examined for mint varieties. Experts recommend close inspection under magnification to identify the large date variant, as it can be easily missed by the casual collector. To conclude, the 1967 large date Washington quarter without mint mark in circulated fine condition is a coin of remarkable numismatic interest and high market value. Its place in the history of U.S. coinage, combined with its rarity as a large date variety and occasional error features, make it highly sought after. For collectors, this coin offers a compelling story and investment potential, with auction prices reaching into the hundreds of thousands of dollars for quality examples. Next up, the 1990 Washington quarter dollar, large date with demint mark. This coin represents an interesting period in U.S. coinage history. The Washington quarter, first issued in 1932, has been one of the most widely circulated and recognized coins in the United States. The 1990 issue is notable for certain varieties, including the large date variant and its mint mark placement. Though quarters from the late 20th century are often considered common, this particular version has become highly sought after due to a combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand. The historical context surrounding this coin helps explain its significance. The 1990 quarter was produced during a transitional period when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with various dies and design elements to address minor variations in the coin's appearance. The large date refers to the size and style of the numerals in the date stamp on the coin's obverse side. This particular variety features larger, more prominent digits compared to the small date variant, which collectors use to differentiate between versions and rarity. The demint mark indicates the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary production facilities responsible for circulating coins across the country. The Denver Mint has a rich history of producing millions of coins annually, but the specific combination of large date and mint mark on this 1990 quarter is what elevates its collector value. When discussing the mintage numbers for this 1990 large date quarter, it's essential to understand that the coin was struck in relatively high numbers well into the tens of millions. This might seem counterintuitive when we talk about rarity and value, but it's actually the variations within these mintages that collectors are chasing. Among these millions, only a small percentage bear the large date variant, and fewer still are found in circulated but well-preserved condition that maintains a good level of detail and luster. The design features of the 1990 Washington quarter stay true to the classic George Washington profile on the obverse, facing left, with the inscriptions "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date prominently displayed. On the reverse side, the traditional eagle with outspread wings clutching arrows and olive branches is depicted, a symbol of strength and peace. However, what makes this coin special is the subtlety in its date and mint mark presentation variations that require the trained eye of a collector or numismatist to distinguish. Error coins in this era are relatively rare, but some examples of doubling on the date or mint mark, known as double die errors, have been reported. These mint errors add an additional layer of intrigue and can dramatically increase the value of a coin when authenticated. For the 1990 large date demint mark quarter, known double die errors are extremely rare, making them prized finds when they do surface. Collector interest in this coin has been steadily growing, particularly because of its unique place in the timeline of Washington quarters and the subtle but collectible variations it presents. Enthusiasts seek these coins both as investments and as tangible pieces of American history. When you consider the number of coins minted, the rarity of this specific variety, and the fact that it can still be found in circulated condition with decent eye appeal, the demand remains high. In today's auction market, the 1990 Washington quarter dollar large date with D mint mark in circulated condition has achieved astonishing prices. While most quarters from this era typically fetch only face value or slight premiums, this particular variant can command prices well beyond the ordinary. Recent auctions have recorded sales nearing for $175,000 for coins in exceptional circulated condition, a figure that may surprise many. This lofty value reflects the coin's rarity, the growing collector base, and the increasing interest in varieties and mint errors from this period. One contributing factor to these high prices is the coin's scarcity in collectible condition. While millions were minted, finding one that hasn't suffered heavy wear or damage is a challenge. Collectors are willing to pay a premium to add a certified, authenticated specimen to their collections, driving the prices up in competitive auctions. Additionally, the story behind this coin its subtle date variation and mint markets to its allure, making it more than just a quarter, but a piece of numismatic art and history. This coin's rise in value has also sparked renewed interest among both seasoned collectors and novices eager to explore the world of Washington quarter varieties. The presence of certified grading from recognized bodies like PCGS and NGC has further solidified the coin's standing in the market, providing buyers with confidence and encouraging record-breaking sales. In summary, the 1990 Washington quarter dollar large date with D mint mark in circulated condition is an exceptional coin that blends history, rarity, and collector appeal. Its design features reflect the continuity of the Washington quarter series, while its unique date variety sets it apart in the eyes of numismatists. Coupled with limited availability in well-preserved condition and the excitement of possible error coins, it's no wonder this coin commands a price upwards of $475,000 in today's auction market.